Hey guys, this is Matney, and this is the 6th round of the Dirty Duel tournament. This game turns out to be very interesting to me, and I kind of feel like I struggle through the whole thing, but his first round he picks up a couple extra trade with that trade bot. Funny enough, I do find out later that he actually didn't mean to do that. He was kind of going back and forth between a couple cards, and ended up getting that one. But so I take the defense bot, give me that extra scrap and 1 damage. So give me a small scrap advantage at this point. We are playing battles and bases, and man, as this game unravels, I think you'll see more what I'm talking about. But just so interesting. He is able to pick up the supply bot as well as this little pod, and this is where his damage advantage starts to begin. I now have 4 trade, and there's not a whole lot on the trade row I really want, so I just pick up 2 explorers. Now I should have thought about this and actually possibly picked up that base, that outpost base, in order to start to protect myself, but I didn't. He gets the scrap, gets the 6 trade in order to pick up that blob carrier. So frustrated because I have, of course, 7 trade in my hand to be able to do the exact same thing. So he literally gets at the turn before I do, and that literally is one of my favorite cards, so I'm super bummed at this point. And he does have the other green in his deck, giving him the potential to combo it. So now I'm sitting with 7 trade. What do I do with it? I don't even really know. So, looking around, I do have that base, red base, with the extra scrap. It does have a nice defense on it, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that and see if I can't get that scrap advantage, and then also use that defense to end my advantage as well. The next turn, he picks up that Imperial Frigate. He's going to start making me discard cards, which is never any fun. But again, getting 4 extra damage. Look out on the trade row, and again, there's just no damage for me to get. So he's, at this point, has a really high trade advantage. And, excuse me, not trade advantage, but damage advantage. And there's just virtually nothing I can do about it. So I'm looking at this, and now there's 3 bases out there. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I should start going for bases and use that for defense. Not a bad option, but I have no idea why I still did this, but I ended up taking the survey ship. Of all cards out there, I take the survey ship. Really? I don't even know what I'm thinking at that point. But I do get the 2 blob fighters after that, which do increase my deck by about 6 damage, which is nice, and potential draw cards. But man, why did I take that survey ship? I have no idea. That's alright, life happens. We are talking throughout this game, and that's who I'm playing with. You'll see him pop up a couple times, but yeah. Anyway, he's a great guy, fun to play with. So I highly encourage shooting him a challenge and beating him up a little bit for this game. And again, 2 trade, nothing I can really do, so I just take explorers. You'll see me do that a bunch throughout this game, which is frustrating. He does scrap that command ship, which I'm okay with, because I don't think I'll be getting the 8 trade that I need anyway. So I get my junkyard out, so I'm going to start using it. Scrap those scouts. And do sit with the 3 trade. Again, I do make a smarter choice this time. I actually take one of the trades, and I do take that green one in order to try to combo with my blob fighters to try to speed up my deck a little bit. But at this point, he also now has a few bases as well, increasing his defense while he still has a tremendous amount of damage. So I'm not liking this. I'm really not liking the direction it's going. I do like that I have the trade in my hand. I'm looking at 6 right now, which is perfect for that construction hauler. But I'm so frustrated because I have no blue in my deck at all. So if I take that right now, there's no way of me comboing it. So I just can't get myself to do it. The Mega Mech does have the 6 damage and does allow you to return a base to your hand, as well as draw a card if you combo it. And right now I'm at a large deficit of damage that if he gets that card, I mean, there's literally nothing I can do. So I take that Mega Mech, hopefully to speed up the deck, draw those cards, use hopefully a couple extra bases a couple more times, and see what kind of damage I can get added. I don't know, looking back, if I'd actually changed that, if I would have gone with a construction hauler. There's plenty of blue out there, and I end up getting a little bit of it. Again, even this round, I take that trade bot. No idea why I do. At this point in the game, I have 29 life. He has 42. There is no reason I should be taking extra economy, especially cards like this that I can't combo with. If I had the blue in my deck, that's one thing, but I don't. I don't have any blue. That's the reason I didn't take the construction hauler, but yet I take the trade bot. Part of me may be hoping that next turn I'll get 6 and I'll go ahead and take the construction hauler, but naturally I don't. So, and of course, taking the trade bot, the cutter shows up. Man, I don't like that when it falls on their turn. So he'll be able to pick up that cutter, most likely, and I'm stuck without it. I did this later in the game. I did just grab the trade pod, so I do actually go ahead and scrap just one of the explorers. Not sure why I didn't scrap both of them, but I didn't. I do some weird stuff in this game. He does at this point actually not combo the blob carrier and top decks the construction hauler. Are you kidding me? So frustrating. So frustrating. Of course, he has that shuttle in his deck currently, so he'll be able to combo that on his next turn. Oh, frustrating. So I do take that red base on the end there to prevent him from being able to take it, but also to help myself. I have plenty of red in my deck. It does add a little damage. I do actually have that 2 extra, so I'm able to take that cutter that pulls up. That's actually kind of nice. Although at this point, 17 life to 38, I think might be a little bit too late. Do get a nice draw this next round, but so does he. He does combo that construction hauler. He does bring out an extra base. Also brings out his yellow base, causing me to discard a card. That's no fun. I kind of like what I have in my hand, but not my choice. So we'll get to draw a few different cards here. One for the survey ship, one for the blob fighter, one for that mech. Unfortunately, I don't have that second base out for my bot. That'd be kind of nice if I can get that extra damage, but I don't. It does at least allow me to draw an extra card with the mech. But man, this one's interesting. So I do get a decent amount of damage at 13, but he's still sitting at 45, and now he's got 2 bases out. So I do end up with 6 trade, but again, it's not the 8 for the 2 big bases, and there's not a whole lot out there that I even really want. That sad face he just put there, I actually wrote him and told him that I was super bummed he took my blob carrier, and he was being sympathetic for me and gave me a sad face. It was kind of fun. He's a great guy. I'll definitely play with him again sometime. So I have the 14 damage, take out one of his bases, look at that other blob base, and realize that he still has the blob carrier in his deck. I really don't want him comboing it, although there's not a whole lot out there, but there's always possibilities of something better coming out. So I go ahead and take out both bases, which consumes a great deal of my damage, and so get in an extra 4 damage to him. Man, I'm just not getting the damage that I want. But that's been the struggle of this whole game, is he's taken most of the cards that have damage on the trade row, leaving me with just very little damage to even choose from. So that, if you can accomplish it, is a great strategy. Something I will definitely remember and try to look for in the future. 6 trade, what do I do with it? So little options. I go ahead and take the trade pod. Again, way late in the game, I should not be taking economy, but I did. Yeah, it's a great card, but just not at this point in the game. It's definitely not going to help me considering I'm at 13 life. Looking through the decks just to see what we're toying with. Again, I know that I'm so far outclassed in damage that there is just very little of anything I can absolutely do at this point. He does get the 4 to be able to take that blob destroyer, just adding even more green and even more damage to his deck. Giving me very little, any kind of opportunity to do anything. Looking at what I have, 3 trade, 4, 5, 6 possible trade. I do take that frigate because it does have some damage, and I can scrap it just to draw a card. I do have a few bases, And I do have the extra 2, so I'm going to take the defense bot in order to try to deal some extra damage. And scrap's always nice as well. I do the right thing, get rid of that explorer. Obviously, at this point in the game, it's not going to help me at all. Also, get rid of that trade bot. It's not going to help me this point either. Trying to scrap my deck down as thin as I can. But again, at this point, it's probably a little bit too late. He gets a nice next turn. That stupid blob carrier coming out again. And manages to combo the blob carrier and put that mothership on top of his deck. Man, this is just not working out. I get a fun draw. I do get to do the extra damage with the bot this turn, and I get to, at this point, I'm actually analyzing which base I want to bring back to my hand and pull out. I decide to try to gain as much life as I can, even though I know it's useless. I'm still hoping to get something, so go ahead and gain the 4 life from that base. Reuse it. Get to do a fair amount of damage to him this turn, which is somewhat satisfying, but I know it's inevitable. Resistance, it's inevitable. But hey, 19 damage, I can work with that. I'm also going to end up scrapping this guy. Out of the 3 bases I have, only one of them is an outpost, and for those that haven't played this very much, outposts have to be destroyed before you can attack the player. Well, only one of those is, so he can completely circumvent the other 2. So rather than letting him do that, I go and scrap that bottom blue base to deal the extra 5 damage. Trying to get him as low as possible. It's still not a lot, but hey, I almost cut his life in half there. That's kind of nice. I think about using my red base to do the same thing, but if I want any chance of surviving next round, I'm going to need that extra 5 defense. So, I leave it there. Not a great draw. That's not going to help me this next turn to kill him. But turns out he doesn't really need it. He gets a great draw, gets the damage he needed, and that's the end. Thanks for watching the game. This was somewhat frustrating, but hey, thanks for watching.